Hey, beautiful people. Hopefully we're live. Um, Again, I'm having technical problems, which isn't unusual. So I'm hoping you can hear me because I've tried this like 2 or 3 times before. I think 3 times now. So I'm just going to say what I need to say and then I'll close. But let's start with it's a beautiful day in sunny Florida. And as I always say, please have faith over fear. Never let fear rule you, like it did in this Chad and Lori Daybell case. People were fearful and didn't come forward. People were fearful and didn't respond appropriately. If you take fear away, then you're going to respond right when the situations are looking very, not right. So with that said, guys, I want to. I got to take my volume off because I'm hearing the feedback. With that said, guys, you need to keep your hearts open a little bit for Chad's Daybell's kids, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to read Matt Daybell's statement that he released a few days ago after the bodies were found. And this is why we need to open up to the kids a little bit, because if Chad Daybell has been influencing people like we know he has, and that Chad Daybell has been given teachings to people as we know he has, then why doesn't that say he wouldn't be doing the same to his kids? And why wouldn't they say that they might be indoctrinated with all his doctrines that are not right? So we're going to have to give them time. And so part of this, I'll read Matt Daybell's statement, and then we'll talk about what Chad's kids might need to do. Here's the statement. The events of the past 9 months have weighed heavily on our family. It has been one of our most difficult things we have ever had to go through. Some in our extended family are still struggling to accept the reality that Chad could have been involved in something so terribly wrong. On behalf of myself, my wife, Heather, and our 4 children, we express our most sincere sympathies to Larry and Kay and to JJ and Tylee's entire extended families. We are devastated by today's news and the apparent role that Chad has played in what has transpired. Heather and I have communicated many times in person and by phone with Larry and Kay over the past several months. They have been examples of courage, strength, and kindness to us throughout this difficult trial that they have been forced to endure. Throughout this ordeal, we have supported one another in pursuit of the truth and will continue to do so. They have been praying for our family as we have prayed for them. Our heartfelt love and prayers continue to go out to them and their family at this very difficult time. We also continue to pray for Tammy and Chad's adult children and their spouses. Because of the difficulty of this situation, our relationship with them has been significantly strained. As a result, we have no contact with them or Chad for the last many months. We do not know where his children stand at this time. As such, we ask for patience and compassion for them and for all of our extended family as we cope with the horrific events that have come to light. Matt and Heather Daybell. So there you have it, guys. I know this has been read before, but it's pertinent to today. They're actually supposed to send their love to everybody, and they just did that. They just said that they're heartsick, and the only thing they can do is pray in love at this time. But with that said, they were asking for us to give time to the kids. And this is what I'm going to say to Chad's adult children and spouses and their children, is this is the time that you have to recognize, like the entire world, that Chad and Lori have been up to very serious, nefarious things. Part of what they've been up to involves deaths of people and premeditation of deaths, like in the Brandon Boudreaux situation. So, guys, you need to keep your minds open and get the help that you need. I know that your father and possibly Lori and other people that encompass them, those encompassing parts were wrong. They shouldn't have encapsulated you with beliefs that things were good and that their thoughts and their teachings and their actions were good. Believe me, they were wrong. And what you're going to need to do with the rest of the Rexburg community, it isn't just about you, it's about the entire people, whatever network of people that Chad Daybell came across. If he came across you and had teachings, then you're going to need to get help. Because what they teach when they have these bad cults are very serious things that are so subtle that you don't recognize that your thinking has changed a little bit. You start standing up for your cult leader. You start standing up for things that don't sound right because you put the faith in the wrong places. Because that's what they've taught you to do, is to have faith in them and not faith in your own constitution. So please, find your own constitution. Find what makes sense to you and have faith that this situation was propelled. All of the propulsion came from Chad and Lori. It does not matter who was the leader. The justice system will try to fish for that. But for us, it doesn't matter. They're both culpable. She let her kids be murdered. He was part of it. Whether he was part in just burying them or giving them the land to do so, or if he was actually involved in the deaths. Please, for your sake, Chad's adult children and the Rexburg community, please reach out where it needs to be, to social service agencies who can help you. That could be just if you look up a psychologist or a therapist online, or in the phone book, wherever it might be. That could be if you call a helpline and tell them your situation, and they'll give you some referrals and some recommendations. But your whole community, Chad's children, are going to need extreme help, and you're part of that community. He has done some extreme warping of values, some extreme warping of realities. And when people do this, and especially if it's your own kin, especially if it's your own father who you have been taught to respect and to love your whole life. But when he has committed these types of heinous crimes, your duty now is to give in to all of the faith that you had in him, and put that faith that you had in your father into the system that will help you. Yes, the systems aren't right. They failed Charles. They failed your mother. They failed JJ and Tylee. And they almost, or they did fail Brandon. Because if Lori and Alex had been arrested July 11th, or at least known to be suspicious in the death of Charles, then there is a possibility that JJ and Tylee would still be here. There's a great possibility that Brandon Boudreaux would have never been shot at and almost killed. And there's a possibility that your mother would have been saved. So with that said, Chad's kids, Chad's relatives who still believe in him and still believe that he was only spouting goodness, please get help. Please get help for yourselves, get help for your community, and get help for your children, Chad's grandchildren, Chad's relatives, Chad's best friends. I know that there was one of his friends that just went on and spoke to the media and said he was, extremely taken advantage of by Chad, that he had initially actually believed all of Chad's stories, and he had spouted that in the news months ago. He had said that we were the trouble. They were always accusing us, meaning the general public and the legal entities involved and the law enforcement involved and the media involved. They were always accusing all of us that we were the problem. And it was all rhetoric, and it was terrible rhetoric towards their father, towards their friend. Now we know that's not true for sure, people. So please, if you have any ability, if you have any strength at this time, do it on your own. Your brother, your sister is not going to help you get there. They're going to be failing and fumbling their own way. You're going to need to pick yourselves up by the bootstraps. You're going to need to face the truth straight on. Now, Melanie Pulowski talked about truth. She told the whole world that everyone was wrong, from law enforcement to media to us social media people to just the common person. She, the other Lori, was telling us that we were all wrong. And she kept saying the mantra over and over that we would find the truth, that we would find the truth. I heard that word truth so much. She was trying to brainwash us to think that they were angelic. Dear Chad's kids, your parent, Chad Daybell, is not angelic. Your step-parent, Lori Vallow Daybell, is not angelic. They have caused you harm. They have caused Tylee and JJ, Charles, your mother harm. Please go get help. And I'm not talking go get help a month from now. I am talking to go get help now. You need help now. You have been, if I use the so-called bad word, because no one likes the word brainwashed. No one likes the word gaslighted. No one likes the word taken advantage of. These are words that people shun, and they shun because they want to keep their identity. You have your identity. You have just lost it on the way because your father's teachings. Melanie Gibb was right. His teachings are evil. The things that he taught to you all, that he taught to you all, including trying to influence non-relatives and alike, are evil as anyone can sort out. There would not be Charles Vallow, a man of great honorability. He is dead because of your father and Lori. He is dead because of your father, Lori, and Alex. He is dead because of your father's beliefs. He is dead because your father wanted something he couldn't have. And he used Charles to get to Lori. And Lori opened up to all of your father's teachings. She had been reading his books. She had been in trance. There was an entrancement that went on for years. Your father was her hero as much as your father was your hero. But your hero is evil, and you need to get help. You need to take away any desire to go back in time in your mind and make this right, because there is no way. Charles is gone, ambushed, killed in cold blood. Tylee and JJ are gone, found in your backyard. Your mother is gone, somehow deceitfully murdered by Chad, Lori, Alex, and possibly Melanie Pulowski. Melanie Pulowski has the eyes that are soulless. Her eyes are dead. Keith Morrison mentioned her eyes on Dateline interview. And I don't think he was mentioning that she had beautiful eyes. They might be physically beautiful, but the windows into her soul are dark. And if you've ever heard George Harrison, he was one of the Beatles, and he made his own music after the Beatles split up in the 60s. And one of his songs was Beware of Darkness. And that song tells you that there is darkness and you've been touched upon. So with that said, beautiful people, Chad's kids, Chad's relatives, Chad's neighbors, Chad's friends, Chad's contemporaries, people that believed in his writings, listen to me. Go get help today. Make it your next mission. Your mission is to rid yourself of all the ideas that are not true. The truth is, they were murderers. That's Melanie Pulowski's truth. She changed the word truth to mean something bad. We're going to change the word truth to reverse it and make things that are good. We're not going to let the Melanie Pulowskis, the Summer Shitlets, and the Janice Cox change our truths. We knew all along, dear Chad's kids, that Lori, your stepmother, and Chad, your father, were involved in very heinous crimes. We knew that the deaths of the people that are dead were caused in part by this cult. We knew that when Melanie Pulowski, Summer Shitler, and Janice Cox did their interviews, that those interviews were the same brainwashing that they use on others to get them to go their evil ways. Most of us did not buy into it, but I did see on social media that they did make some impact. Some people were questioning their own selves. They were trying to analyze their own minds to think that maybe Summer and Melanie Pulowski and Ian Pulowski and Janice Cox, the mother of the most hated woman, the most hated mother in the entire United States and possibly the world right now. How can you kill your own children? How can you kill your own husband? How can you kill your lover's wife? She is one of the most hated women for a real reason, Chad's kids. Your father is the most hated man for a real reason, Chad's kids. Please go get help. Keep your faith over fear. Don't be fearful of getting help. Your faith will lead you through the new true, not the Melanie Pulowski truths and true. The real true, the real faith will get you through. And I am awfully sorry that this had to happen to young people, that he's gaslighted you to this point, that it is probably mostly unbearable for you to have the charge now to personally undo everything that he has done to you. But he did murder your mother. He did help murder Charles, and he did help cover up and/or murder JJ and Tylee. And when you took those cookies from your new stepmother Lori, or your new stepmother to be Lori, I don't know how you can honor her to be the mistress of your father and then take cookies from her. She is human poison flesh. Poison flesh. She will never be whoever she might have been before. Never, ever, ever. Your dad won't be. So again, Chad's kids, Chad's neighbors, Chad's contemporaries, Chad's affiliates, get help today. Any cult members, any people that have been attuned into Chad's teachings, get help today. Don't be one that stays damaged from all of his works, from all of Lori's works. If you're part of doomsday people and you've had affiliations with Chad, get help. Anyone that has read and incorporated any of his teachings and his writings into your life, please get help. I'm going to end now. I'm going to say that faith has to be over fear. You can't let anyone make you so fearful that you give up your faith. You can't let them suddenly come into your life and take it away. You know, in any time, the only time you've stood is when you have feared to take the next step. Take this next step and have faith that you can overcome this. You can overcome the abhorrent acts of your neighbors, of your relatives, of your contemporaries. So with that said, beautiful people, you know there's ugly out there. Watch out for that ugly. Beware of the ugly. As George Harrison said, beware of darkness. One of his most beautiful songs. Beware of darkness. Thank you very much. Like and subscribe.